Hello, Doc Boffin here. We're playing another game of Combat Cards Raglan Shires for the launch of Combat Cards 2.2. I'm playing against Tapple here, who is the purple cat with the rubber ring on and a floppy sword. So given how terrifying he doesn't look, I should be winning this one quite nicely, but as you can see, I haven't got the best of hands. I have two cards which will get me energy, but I have no large attacks, so I'm going to draw up some cards to try and get some large attacks, and then I'll start laying in to the purple pussy over there. So, oh, he's got an early attack in there, the Raglan Rip, which is a high attack for 14 points of damage. I'm going to have to remember he has that one, because I don't want to take too many of those in future. So I think if I see him gaining energy again, then what I'll do is I'll throw in a block at the high area to at least reduce some of that damage that I take. Meanwhile, I'm still drawing cards. I hope this is a large attack, because that's what I could really do with here. We're seeing now as it reses in. This really isn't looking too good for me. I'm behind 86 health points to 105 here. And no, that wasn't a two-turn attack, unfortunately. Right. So finally, we have a Couture's Kosh, so we're underway. So let's do a high block in case that Raglan Rip comes in again, and then we're going to launch the Couture's Kosh, which will be the mid attack. So. There's the Latte Lash, which is a high block, gets me 1 energy, unlocks Couture's Kosh, which I can now play, and that is going to be a mid attack, which hopefully will start getting me back into the game. Meanwhile, Tapple is drawing cards again. Right, there we go, we've got the attack in, so 12 points of damage and 3 health regenerated, that's very nice. Meanwhile, I blocked Tapple's regeneration, so we're back in the game. 90 points of health, still behind, but only 4 points of health behind now, so it really is game on now at the Combat Cards arena. Now, I managed to block some of that 14 points of health and all of the regeneration, so although I took some damage there, it wasn't too bad. Now, hopefully I can get another Couture's Kosh in, and I'm going to keep playing this combo until it proves to be unsuccessful. So let's see, is there going to be a mid block here? No, there isn't a mid block. We get the attack in, and we're in the lead for the first time. This is good. 12 points of damage, 3 points of regeneration, very nice indeed. And now we're going to play the Latte Lash, which will take some of the sting out of that Raglan Rip again if it comes out. Meanwhile, I'm going to be looking out for any other attacks I get from my opponent. No, it's the Raglan Rip again, so I take 8 points. That's not the best, but hopefully it means I can launch a Couture's Kosh once again and get some more damage in. So if I keep doing more damage and I keep getting more regeneration, then this really is a winning strategy for me. No, Tapple's got wise to me, so he's blocked mid and done some damage to me there, so that wasn't quite as good as I was hoping, but Tapple hasn't got any energy, so now would be a good point for me to hopefully draw once more, not having to worry about too many big attacks coming in, and hopefully I'll get a second two-turn attack. That's what I really want. I want options for my two-turn attacks, and I can start alternating them, I can start mixing them up, and I can start being more unpredictable, which means I'm a much more difficult opponent to deal with at that point. And there it is, Raglan Rip comes up as my second card, which means I can now start alternating attacks. So the Latte Lash comes in from Tapple. I'm expecting the Raglan Rip to come in, which will be means we'll both be playing the same card, which means I won't be getting ahead here, but after that I can start switching the cards up, switching back and forth between them, and then hopefully we can start getting somewhere in this match. Right, so my problem now is that I don't have a high block that I can use apart from the Brain Drain. The Brain Drain really doesn't do me much good because it's a one-turn attack. It only does 3 points of damage. It's barely worth doing against Raglan Rip there. So also, if I play Couture's Kosh when Raglan Rip is played, then I get that Couture's Kosh's attack blocked, which means which means I don't do any damage at all. So at the moment, actually, I haven't got the best cards, but I'm not sure that's been figured out. No, so I managed to launch a Red Fire Rip, which puts me into the lead, because the Guttural Groan blocks in the mid area and I'm attacking in the high area. So really, I shouldn't be doing as well as I am, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to keep pressing on and see if I can pull off this Red Fire Rip a few more times, because if I can, then I really am doing quite well. So Couture's Kosh, that's an interesting one, because Couture's Kosh is a card that I can block with Red Fire Rip. So if I can get a Red Fire Rip in at the same time as Couture's Kosh, then that means the Red Fire Rip is both being used as a block and an attack simultaneously. Now it doesn't look like my opponent has the option for blocking high with a block. So at the moment I'm still going to be okay, because if I keep playing Red Fire Rip, that is the maximum amount of damage that can be done with a horror deck. I'm ahead, so I can keep this going all day long. So Couture's Kosh, yes, it hits me again, but if I can get Red Fire Rip in again, I really don't mind. A few more exchanges of these two cards, and I'll be waltzing home to victory. So I'm going to keep going with this tactic. I'm doing better than I should be, but I'm not going to be complaining. Right, so the Latte Lash comes out. Now this is interesting because it means it's blocked some of my high attack there. Now I'm expecting that Couture's Kosh again, so I'm going to play a mid block, because it turns out now that being out of phase with my opponent is not helpful, because the Latte Lash takes too much off the sting off my Red Fire Rip. So I managed to get that block in, managed to get an attack in. I'm still ahead. Now hopefully we're in sync, right? Hopefully we'll both play a block and then we'll both play attacks at the same time, and if I manage to get a Couture's Kosh blocked by my Red Fire Rip, then that's really very useful for me. So let's see how this goes. So I play the build-up card. It looks like that's a draw card happening there, so that's very interesting. Now I'm expecting my Red Fire Rip to be blocked, so I'm going to launch a Couture's Kosh here to try to avoid that block. And there we go, yes, we're at the high block, which is what we're expecting. We managed to sneak around it with the mid attack. Now I'm expecting probably a mid block here, mid attack here, so I'm going to do Marsh Lights, which is a mid block, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much to everybody who's turned up for this launch event today. The mid block, right, the mid block manages to take some of the sting out of the Couture's Kosh, so we're still doing okay here. So now we're both going to build up, hopefully, both going to build up cards now, and then we can launch another series of big attacks once we've got some energy. So I'm drawing up some energy here. It looks like another draw. Now, unfortunately, keeping drawing cards at this stage in the game is a bit of a dangerous tactic, because if you stop attacking, then you're not building up energy, and you're also not launching attacks. So keep doing that too often, and you will start falling behind. So now we're in one attack distance of a victory here. So I'm expecting probably a mid-attack to come next, so I'll launch another Marsh Lights, and that will take the sting out of a Couture's Kosh if that's launched. It's not, no, I was expecting that. The Red Fire Rip comes out instead. That's a big chunk of damage off me. But at this point in the game, we've got a sufficient lead that misjudgment can hopefully be ignored and put behind us. So it's time to get some energy back up again now. So this is an interesting one. At this point, our opponent knows that we both have Red Fire Rip and Couture's Kosh. Is that another draw card? I think it might be another draw card. I think I'm going to go for the victory. I'm going to go for the Red Fire Rip. I only need to get one Red Fire Rip in now. So if it's not a high attack, then there we are. And there it is. We've got the 14 points of damage. That takes our opponent down to -1, which means we're victorious. That's right. Doc Boffin has won a videoed bout of Combat Cards. It's quite incredible. Thanks to everyone who's come to the Combat Cards 2.2 launch in Raglan Shires. I'm Doc Boffin. Please come along and play Combat Cards very soon. Thank you very much.